Good evening. Welcome home. Thank you, Dave Rashoni, by the way, from DJR Music for that melodic introduction. How are you, my friend? I am Lou Mongello. Thank you for being here for WDW Radio Live. If you're watching live, thank you. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. How is it September? How is it September 1st? Do me a favor. If you're watching, make sure you sit back, relax, get comfortable, grab a snack, tag and invite a friend. And if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here. And turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing, because I often go live, not just on Wednesday nights, but from the parks, including, spoiler, this Friday. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Also, speaking of thanks and live, thank you. If you joined me and Princess Becky Menken from Mouse Fan Travel this past weekend live from the Disney Dream, either during some of the live broadcasts or following along on my Instagram stories. If you missed any of those, I saved them all as highlights under Dream and Dream 2, which sort of gave you a minute-by-minute, hour-by-hour look at exactly what was happening on the Disney Dream, what was new, what was different, some things that were better. Obviously, we're going to do a full recap and show about it very soon on the podcast, so stay tuned. You can also go back and check out the replays of the live video, including one that for some reason was in portrait instead of landscape. I have no idea why Facebook did that, so my apologies, or you're welcome if you only saw half my face for most of the broadcast. I see a lot of, speaking of faces, I see a lot of familiar faces tonight. I also see a lot of new names. If you are new to watching the show, thank you, welcome. I know your time is your most valuable commodity. I appreciate you spending and sharing it with us. Welcome to the clubhouse. Welcome to the WDW Radio family. Please tell me where you are watching from and maybe how long you've been listening and how excited you are to go back to Walt Disney World. There's a lot of good stuff coming up, including a special event announcement that, of course, I'm going to share with you first. All right. I've been struggling trying to read the screen as much as I can. I just can't do it. Let's see. Paulette, Gordon, and Odo, and who doesn't love? Anybody here not love Sam? Nobody in this. Everybody loves Sam. Everybody loves Sam. Everybody loves Becky Menken from Mouse Fan Travel, who is here once again. As if I didn't have enough Becky Menken for the past 4 days. There's more Becky to go around, and we got a lot of stuff that we're excited to share with you tonight coming up as well. Where do I get started? Boy, where do I get started? Wow. Renata Hospedales is watching from Trinidad. I don't know why that continues to amaze me that you're watching from so far away. I love Trinidad. I went to Trinidad, God, long time ago when I was a kid. Everybody was so nice. I need to go back now that I have a better appreciation for the food, though. So a trip to Trinidad. I'll look you up. I'll come over. We'll have dinner. A trip to Trinidad has to be on my bucket list. If everything was normal, right, and everything was open and everything was safe, and hopefully we're getting there faster rather than not, if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, forget about money, forget about politics, forget about, anything else. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? Where would you go? And what's the thing that's bringing you? What's the thing that you want to see? For me, I want to go back to Japan so desperately. I know we're going to Italy in, God willing, in the spring, and I really want to go to Egypt. But man, I love Japan. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but every so often I'll pull up some videos of just what life is like in Japan, specifically places like Kyoto. So there's a lot of Japan there. Germany, Australia, Japan. Jeff C. wants to go to Japan. Jody Rice going Bora Bora. I dig it. I would travel to all of France or Tokyo, Disneyland, Ireland. Still want to go to Walt Disney World, England, Italy, the Mediterranean, Hawaii. Italy is where my family is from. So, Chrissy, do you know where in Italy your family? My father was from the Naples area, and my mother was half Nobledon and half Sicilian. So, I still have never been to yet. Amanda wants to go to Morocco. I'm assuming you mean the country and not just the pavilion. A lot of Italy. Marla Chan wants to go to Disneyland Paris. If only there was somebody that would not only help me book a trip to Disneyland Paris, but would go with me. to help me enjoy and explore and share with you what Disneyland Paris looks like. I'll figure out someday. Kendall Foreman, whose name is going to come up more than once tonight, wants to go to Hawaii, sit amongst the tropical foliage, hear the waves, and you forgot about the part about eating the fresh tuna poke, which is part of the reason why. Father Christopher wants to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Oh, no, he's saying there's a lot of Chattanooga, Tennessee in there. Jeff wants to go to Oslo. L'Oreal Olveri wants to go back to Japan, or to Japan. England, Germany, a lot of Tokyo. Becky, there's a lot of requests for Japan in there. I'm just saying, in case we decide to go again, we have to. Actually, I promised my son that I would, so we're going to have to. I need to go back for you and for him. Alaska, Italy, Disneyland Paris. Let me see. Anything that's unique. Hello from behind Levi Stadium. So Joe wants to go to Outback Steakhouse. That's it. Listen, you set your goals however high you want to. Beatrice wants to do a river cruise in Europe, Becky Menken. It's not that we haven't talked about doing a river cruise in the future. Who knows? Dave Rashoni of DJRmusic.com. A world cruise, Antarctica. Here it's very cold there. Like minus 80 degrees is normal. I'm not sure. I'd be curious to see it from a distance, maybe, or a plane. So, but I did mention the name Kendall Foreman, and if you are a listener to the podcast, and I really hope you are, if you're not, why not? Where do you listen, by the way? Where do you like to listen to the podcast? Is it Apple Podcasts? Is it Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Cast? Is it the website? Where do you actually consume the podcast? And have you listened to our two-parter? Because what top 10 shouldn't be a two-parter? The top 10 art pieces in Walt Disney World, which I can tell you honestly, and I never like to do this, right? Because the show for me is like a child, right? Each one is special to me. I love each one individually. But I have to tell you, and I'm not saying it just because Kendall's here, I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I love where it took us. I love just the conversation that we had and exploring the idea of what art is, and then recognizing pieces of art that we might not have thought about otherwise, and the work and the craftsmanship and the time that goes into these beautiful pieces that sometimes get lost amongst the lines, the cues, the animatronics, and the definition of what we all consider to be art could be something that is framed on a wall. It could be a statue. It could be a mural. It could be some of the other things that we talked about, like fireworks. Obviously, we're talking about the visual arts, not just the performing arts, and music, which we've touched on in the past, and Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'm coming for you next in our discussion about the music of Walt Disney World. But what were some of the things that we talked about that either resonated with you, that opened you up to something that you hadn't thought about before, or was there something that we missed that you felt that we needed to add to the list? So I see a lot of Apple Podcasts, a lot of Spotify. This is just sort of a curiosity. Apple Podcasts it's not my favorite app in the whole wide world, but it is what it is. I get it, and it's the one that's there. It's something to Spotify, sometimes through the website. Spotify on my Apple Watch while I run. Wow, Jeremy Goff. There's a lot going on in that sentence. Amazon Music, Overcast, Google Podcasts. Ryan Dono from the Forcecast. So I only listen to episode 1 of my iPod Nano every morning when I wake up. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. Kyle misses the Maelstrom Q mural. Brian Wilson's on Podcruncher, on Facebook. I need to look up the Horizon mural. Never saw it in real life. Yeah, it was incredibly impressive. And I think on my Instagram post last week, I have an image of the Horizon mural with the artist in front of it, so you can get a sense of just the scale of how big and how beautiful it really was. Chrissy listens to iHeartMedia. Wow. Podcast app. Kendall's mad. I meant to mention the Lego sculptures outside the Lego store in Disney Springs. That's what I mean. The medium, the canvas, doesn't necessarily matter in terms of what we consider to be art and what we consider to be quote unquote fine art. I think that is a very broad and subjective definition, which is why I really, really just enjoyed this conversation so very much. Let's see. The projections on the castle with the fireworks are by far my favorite piece of art. And from what I understand, what is coming in the next iteration of the Nighttime Spectacular show in Magic Kingdom is going to turn those projections up to like 12. Tom says Mary Blair's Grand Canyon Concourse in the Contemporary. You very much see why it was so high on the list for us. William says the animatronics are art. I don't disagree with you. I think beauty and art is in the eye of the beholder. And because there is so much, not just science and technology and engineering that goes into it, but there is artistry that goes into it as well. We suspend the suspension of disbelief. That leap that we have to take is getting shorter and shorter in terms of forgetting that those animatronics are not real people because of how smooth they move, how lifelike they are. Imagine where that technology is going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Sue Passauer, who, by the way, I hope you're doing well in New Orleans. We were thinking about you and praying for you this weekend. Can't wait to see what they do for the 50th. I agree as well. Derek Interesting says the original design of Hollywood Studios is art from the air. Derek, that's a very interesting literal perspective on it because, yes, they had, and you can still sort of see remnant of that giant hidden Mickey in the middle. But do you mean from a design point of view? Do you mean from a landscape point of view? Explain why that design is artistic for you. Fred Abley from Get Me Coding. If your kid wants to code, send him over to Fred, Mr. Fred at getmecoding.com. The Sky has also provided a varying canvas for some of the spaces that you noted. Listen, Fred, without getting overly, whatever, there are times I wake up in the morning, especially here in Florida, and I look outside and I say to myself that, like, I have this appreciation and say, that God is just painting with this incredible spectrum on this, incredible canvas outside, because that's what it looks like. The way that Florida sun hits the sky in the morning, and sometimes we get those beautiful sunsets here at night. That's exactly what it looks and feels like to me. Would the Mitsukoshi department store be considered art? Absolutely. I think the pavilion itself is art. And that's what we were talking about, the blurring the lines between art and architecture. And I know if somebody wants to find the link, we did top 10 buildings in Walt Disney World a number of years ago. And that conversation turned to, well, why is it on the list? Is it on the list for what's inside? Is it on the list for the design, the aesthetic, the architecture? Why would it be? And I think you're right. I think the replica of the Himeji Castle and that, my love of the Japan Pavilion goes very wide, very deep. That too can be considered and should be considered art because the people who design those and the craftsmen that make them are in fact artists and artisans. Valerie says the ground in Pandora. Like there's no wrong answer here. And Becky, you're right. I mean, we see that in Japan specifically, where you start to enjoy your food before you even taste it because you're meant to enjoy it with your eyes, which is why so much time is taken in terms of the preparation and the presentation of the food, because that's exactly what it is. Wilderness Lodge Lobby says Ray Sharpton is art. I don't disagree with you at all. It's beautiful in there. And God, now that we're getting to that fall weather and that winter weather, there's something even better about that pavilion, about that resort lobby in the fall. A lot of people loving the sky down here. Jim Orahowski spends time in the sky and looking up at the sky, and I agree with you. Doris says, I love Marion's observation that the fireworks are art. Honestly, Doris, I would not have thought about that. It's not, as I was going through my list, it's not one of the things that immediately jumped to mind, but I think that she's right. The stretching room portraits of Brian Jones, without a doubt. Who would not like to have one of those like hanging on their wall somewhere in their house? Becky Mang, thank you. Top 10 buildings is show 522, which is 120. Wow, that's a long time ago. It's crazy when I start talking about numbers. I'm like 600, and we're coming up on 650 episodes. That's a lot of time. That is a lot. That's Joe Rohde's ear count. Again, beauty is very much in the eyes of the beholder. Jody Rice, the murals inside the castle, without question. So Jeff C. From Manly Pinterest Tips says the transitions between lands are fascinating. The thought process as an art form. Jeff, it's super observant of you because, and I talk with this on my audio tours, in terms of, and I want you to listen to them because I took a lot of time slowly and deliberately going through those transitions because I want you to hear, because the transitions are not just visual, right? And there is, especially places when you go from Main Street to Adventureland. Jeff, when you come down here, we're going to walk the park, and I'll point some of these out to you because it's not just how the visuals change and the Crystal Palace, that delicate lattice work, starts to get overgrown by thick, green vines, and the music starts to change, and all of a sudden it goes from these delicate plants and trees to this very lush, rough, overgrown, and there is this sense of a changing of place that is crafted through all five senses, right? All the things that you see, hear, touch, taste, obviously, and smell are crafted. So I love the fact that you look at that as a piece of art. Sue Passauer says, I think there's no aspect in Disney, whether it's pictures, murals, buildings, food presentation, yay, etc., that isn't art. When it comes to Disney, art is Disney. It's true and it's deep, like metaphysically deep. I like it. Pyro is definitely an art. We use colors and shapes to interpret music. The topiaries and flower and garden, says Father Christopher. The artwork above the stage in the Country Bear Jamboree, that's what I mean. It's amazing how we all pick out different pieces and places of art. And it's why I wanted to try and point out ones that you might not have thought of or consider or even had seen before. Like, we go through the Animal Kingdom Lodge lobby. Usually I'm rushing down to get to my bread service, but if you do take your time and go through, there's incredible art there. And the Igbo Ijele, I probably butchered that, I apologize, mask is fascinating to look at. And when you start to hear the stories about how it actually is not just a piece of art that is meant for display, but it's a piece of art that's worn, and it's a performance piece of art, I think makes you appreciate it even more. Donna Milligan, I know exactly what you mean. The huge painting in the breezeway at the Beach Club Villas as you're going out by the pool, and there's that sort of that two-story, almost like mini atrium that's in there. Is beautiful. I actually have, it's downstairs. Somebody sent me, and forgive me if you're here and I forget your name, somebody sent me that mural, but in a small canvas, and I have it actually hanging in my house downstairs. So the character mural in Main Street Cinema that's now covered, which was there for years and years ago. Who remembers when Art of Disney was upstairs at Centurium? Who remembers when Centurium was Centurium, and you had that second level that you could walk up those stairs off to the side? The totem poles at Wilderness Lodge, the monorail cars are art. Everything is art. Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All is loving all the sea turtle art at Disney's Vero Beach Resort. I love Disney's Vero Beach Resort, period, as well as all the good restaurants in the area as well. Enjoy your time there this week. Lori Oliveri says, the Tangled Potties. I think the Tangled Pot, there is artwork at and around and near the Tangled Parties, the Tangled Pot. I can't say that enough. Christamina says, the calligraphy and signs for attractions, getting it right just starts the experience. I agree. I'm a font nerd, and years and years ago, I met somebody who did a lot of the lettering work, especially in places like Main Street. And it was fascinating to sit and chat with her about the process. And she took out her iPad and sort of showed me how they go from this is what we need lettering for to how she sort of ideates and creates. And it's to her, it's an art form, and she hand lettered everything, which was amazing to me. But yeah, I do like, I'm not artistic, but I am a total font geek. So our squatty, oh boy, shout out to a proper kerning on a font. I know. Who doesn't love a good top 10? Did I do a top 10? No, I didn't do a top 10 fonts, but I know that there was a conversation about fonts somewhere. If not, I might have to do a top 5 live. My top 5. Wait a minute. Somebody write this down. I'm going to do a top 5 live one of these weeks. My top 5 Disney fonts, like from the Disney parks. God, there's actually good ones from like movies and stuff too. I couldn't do it as a top 10 podcast because there's no way to sort of convey the visuals, but we can have some fun and do fun with fonts with Lou Mongello. I'm going to do a separate live show, just fonts. Poster Art of the Disney Parks is a great book if you are a font nerd. I very much agree, Jeff C. By the way, speaking of books like poster art and the maps of the Disney parks, huge thanks if you took part in the Instagram giveaway this past week. I was wildly overwhelmed with the response to that contest. I picked and announced the winner on Instagram tonight. If you played and didn't win, that's okay, because I have other stuff right there and right in there in the prize closet that I'm going to be giving away maybe in the next few days or so. I got some really fun stuff to give away that I'll, by the way, Jim, thank you very much for the text. I will give away on Instagram or maybe on the show, but stay tuned and see. I'm Instagram.com/Lou Mongello. Grace Corba says, I love the mural archways in the Riviera Resort as you walk in from the Skyliner. If I could somehow capture that Peter Pan mural and put it here in my office somewhere, which would be really weird, but I love it. I agree. And again, the handwork that goes into not just designing, but the hand cutting and the hand laying of all those tiles, and the vision and the discipline to be able to do that, I think is spectacular. So hold the phone, mix the mayo in with the tuna Costa. I have no idea what that means, but now I'm hearing the old Charlie the Tuna Star-Kissed commercial. So anyway, so that's our conversation about art pieces in Walt Disney World. Let's keep this conversation going over in the Clubhouse, which hopefully you are a member of at www.radio.com/clubhouse. And stay tuned. I've got some other interesting shows lined up coming very, very soon. So let's see. Where should we go next? All right, what do you say we do? We do our top 5 live next. It's been a really long time since we've done a top 5 live, so let's get into it. So top 5 live is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to share with you a simple topic. I will take you through my top 5 and maybe an honorable mention or 7, and then certainly want to hear your thoughts. And you'll see that there's going to be a recurring theme tonight that we're going to come back to once, not twice, but a number of times. So tonight's conversation of the best from Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars is going to take us over to Epcot Center. And as we approach Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, I know there's a lot of focus specifically on Magic Kingdom because it was the first park and there's so much going in, but obviously there's a lot to celebrate at Epcot as well. I know a lot of us are excited for the opening of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Harmonious is coming on. So I was thinking a lot about Epcot tonight, and I said, there's a lot about Epcot that I miss. I am a sentimental, nostalgic kind of guy, and that's why I want to go through my and your top 5 extinct Epcot Center attractions, and certainly want to hear your thoughts as well. So getting right into it, hitting there at number 5, I'm going right to Skyleidoscope. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not an attraction. I say nay, nay. Like art, attraction is very broadly defined. Sometimes attractions are not things that need to exist on a park map. They don't need to exist for very long, much like Skyleidoscope, which was maybe about a year and a half from 1985 through 1987. And if you don't know what Skyleidoscope was, because it wasn't there very long, it was a daytime show that took place in the World Showcase Lagoon, not just on the water, but in the skies. There was a variety of different light aircraft and water vehicles, and it actually starred the Dreamfinder, right? He took to the sky to create rainbows and brighten the day. And of course, something goes horribly wrong. These wicked sea dragons come out and try to destroy the rainbows through fire and smoke. And there's actually this very cool, like, in the air battle between good and evil that takes place in the skies of above and over the World Showcase Lagoon. This, unfortunately, I think had a very short life because there was a tragic accident that happened during a practice flight of some of the air vehicles, which I think was a big factor in the show's cancellation. But Skyleidoscope comes in at my number 5. If you saw it, let me know. Did you dig it? Let me know, because Skyleidoscope reminds me of some of the things that we saw in Tokyo Disney Sea, on and above the water. And I honestly think this is where we are headed in terms of not just nighttime spectaculars, but I think we're going to see a return to daytime. And we saw the announcement of the new kite show coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. If you hadn't had a chance to see the video giving you a preview, I love the fact that they are not only bringing something into Animal Kingdom, but it takes place at night, and it's high tech, low tech, right? It's not audio animatronics and robotics and drones. It is the simple, beautiful, graceful elegance of kites that obviously Disney is going to plus to the next level. So, all right, starting off with Skyleidoscope, we then move on to Body Wars. Do you remember Body Wars? It was like Star Tours. It was a motion simulator ride in the Wonders of Life Pavilion. The idea was that you were shrunk down to carry out a mission, basically to take out a splinter inside the human body, directed by, who was Body Wars directed by? Studio audience? Yes, Mr. Spock, Leonard Nimoy. Like, live long and prosper. He directed Body Wars and obviously used the same technology that was in Star Tours. Body Wars is interesting because it had a really fascinating history, because that's not what was originally planned for that pavilion. If you go back to the original, like, pre-1980 designs for Epcot, this was going to be a life and health pavilion. And the idea was that the original attraction was going to be an omni-mover, like Haunted Mansion, or some of the other omni-mover attractions. And it was going to be called The Incredible Journey Within. And it was going to be this slow-moving journey through the human body and the circulatory system. The idea that you were going to be going basically through the circulatory system as a blood cell, like that your vehicle was going to be a blood cell or something to that effect. But this was going to be animated props and huge sets and this giant 35-foot tall beating heart. But they had a number of issues from a technology perspective, from a sponsorship perspective, which was always been the issue with the Wonders of Life Pavilion. And then maintenance costs were going to be an issue as well. But this, the introduction of the simulator system that they use for Star Tours allowed this technology to be ported over to Epcot and give it its first thrill attraction, which is something not only did it not have, but it very, very desperately needed. Because remember, Body Wars doesn't open until 1989, so that's 7 years without. That's why Epcot was the educational park. It was the boring park. It was not necessarily the place kids wanted to go unless you were a nerd like me and loved all the robotic stuff and the technology. I loved Epcot Center. So Body Wars comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, Spaceship Earth. And you're going, Mongello, it's not extinct. Spaceship Earth is still there. I know. However, the original Vic Perrin narration from 82 to 86, and then the Walter Cronkite from 86 to 94, my Spaceship Earth is very much locked in there because it was a very different attraction. And while some of the original Ascension scenes are the same, they've been plussed a little bit over the years. It was the music, it was the narration, and the Descent. If you remember the Descent scenes, were a number of different vignettes showcasing communication technology that at the time was meant to be what was coming in the near and far future. I distinctly remember the little boy in America and a little girl in Japan that were communicating over like a video phone, which at the time was a near future technology because if you remember, not far away in another pavilion that we may or may not talk about, you were able to try out this technology of using video phones to make dining reservations, right? The world, remember the World Key Information System in a place that I may or may not mention very, very soon? That was it, but some of the other technology, but it was tough to keep that updated and relevant, much like anything that is futuristic or Tomorrowlandish in the parks. And I remember when they reopened the attraction, and I remember going to the media preview, and we came to, it's not Judi Dench's fault. I just like the other narration much, much better. There was more gravitas to it. And it's not her delivery. It's just, I think it's the script itself. But when you came down to the Descent, and you can still see there's curtains there, we all sort of said to ourselves, well, they must not be finished with it. They needed to just open this now, and they're going to reveal the rest of the Descent at some point in the near future. That was like, what was that? 13, 14 years ago? Like, it was a really long time ago. So that's obviously not coming anytime soon. Project Gemini was greenlit and then shelved. And then remember, Spaceship Earth was supposed to close for another update pre-COVID. We'll see what or when, if that is actually going to happen. But I loved Walter Cronkite and Jeremy Irons too, to a little bit of a lesser degree. Really, like I loved their narrations specifically. That is sort of what I remember from my childhood. East, West, I won't put on my stupid radio voice that you all make fun of me that I have, but East, West, North, South, all roads lead to Rome. I can hear it in my mind's ear. Anyway, coming at number 3 is Spaceship Earth, the original version. Coming in at number 2, this should come as no shock to anyone. How does Horizons not make anybody's list? It's one of those things that I think needs to be there. Horizons to me is like Adventurers Club. It was one of those things. It's the ex-girlfriend, right? You don't miss her until she's gone. Horizons, as it approached the late 90s, was not a very popular attraction. It's where you went if you wanted to go on something that had no line. Even things like World of Motion had a longer line, and that used that same type of Omnimover system, but there's been a lot of different reasons why they say Horizons closed in 99. It was a sinkhole. It was a sinking. There was a lot of technology problems to it. It still remains a favorite of mine. If you ever can go and see if you've never had a chance to ride Horizons, it was visually beautiful, had some of the best music anywhere. We talked about this on the Music of Epcot show. Horizons had some of the best pre-show, post-show, and on-ride music anywhere in the park, and the ability to choose your own ending, to choose your own adventure, to space, land, sea, was really sort of that first very basic iteration of interactivity in attractions, which is where I think we're seeing attractions are starting to go, and I think over the next 5 to 10 years are very much going to go in that direction. we'll talk more about that coming soon. So number 2 is Horizons. You're like, what could possibly be your number 1? It's easy. Sing it with me. I'm not going to sing it, but sing it with me, because you know, if it's not the original Journey into Imagination and ImageWorks, the post-show was awesome sauce. Today, not so much. The first time you saw Journey into Imagination and you sat there with wide eyes and that song became stuck in your head, and Dreamfinder and Figment all of a sudden became these wonderful, lovable characters that we had never heard of before, right? Really the first time I think that Disney in the parks introduced characters that were unique to the parks themselves. Say what you want about, Michael Eisner or whatever, but, there were no characters in the parks until Eisner got there, but he also had the foresight and the vision to have characters that were created specifically for the attractions. I believe in my little nerdy, nostalgic, sentimental heart of hearts that misses the longer version. Now, for not just the original iteration, not just the original Dreamfinder, but the 40% of the attraction that we're missing that was cut. It's true. The 40% of the attraction that was cut in this current version, I loved every part of it, and I really do believe that I think we were supposed to see it earlier. I think at D23, at Destination D in November, there's a little part of my little Figment-loving, Dreamfinder hugging heart that thinks they are going to announce that the Journey into Imagination Pavilion is going to get updated, and there is going to be a new iteration of Journey into Imagination with a return of Dreamfinder. It might not be the purple coat hat wearing guy that we saw in 1983. It might be one that's closer to the one that we saw in the comic series a number of years ago. I do not think that I think Dreamfinder is far from dead. And I think he and Figment are going to come back, and Figment is really going to be brought forward and almost sort of pronounced as the official or unofficial mascot of Epcot Center, as he always should have been, as I think he sort of kind of currently is. And I think, forget just about the merchandising opportunities. I just think it's something that we as nostalgics want to hold on to, and I think that'll be something great for kids to have Figment really brought more to the forefront and sort of adopted as the mascot of that park. We shall see. Ashley says they're using a lot of Figment in merchandising to not have a revamp. I do not disagree with you. You are wise beyond your years. So I see there's a lot of love for Figment in here as well, but it could not be a top 5 list without at least one honorable mention, and that's why I have 2. Honorable mentions: Communicore from 1982 through 1994. Again, that Communicore, and we've talked about that. If somebody can find the show where we talked about Communicore was, and I think sometimes people don't realize, was not necessarily a standalone pavilion, but really was an extension of all the Future World pavilions, because they all had associated interactive elements that tied directly back into the attractions that you had just seen. So you would come off one attraction and there would be something in there about communications, about energy. I loved everything from Smart One, the interactive robot, to there was the Aladdin VR experience a number of years later. There was the World Countdown Clock. There was the Person of the Century. There were the phones. There was all these different things that you could literally get your hands on. You see, my friends, the computer makes life easier. Don't get me started on Mr. Ken Jennings and the Astute of Computer Review, but all of those things tied back into the attraction. And as a nerd, kid, geek, someone who loved and loves technology, I was a kid in a candy store, and I could just spend hours and hours in Communicore. And how could we talk about early Epcot Center without mentioning The Making of Me? And you're laughing. You're like, oh, Mongello, you're just being funny. or trying to be. I'm not. I think The Making of Me was a bold and very, very, very brave topic for Disney to cover in a theme park. Talking about conception and childbirth and I think the reason why it's on the list is because I still have questions. There's a couple of things that Martin Short did not. He's got to fill in some blanks for me. I just don't understand whatever. It doesn't matter. But I think The Making of Me was fun and funny and educational, and I do. I credit whoever at Disney greenlit that and was like, yeah, we're gonna have a show with a celebrity talking about conception and childbirth. It was very, you got Body Wars right across the way over there, but I think Making of Me was very interesting. Now, this is the part, and I'm starting to see it coming in, where you're all yelling at me. Kendall Foreman, I'm looking at you. Mongello, where's World of Motion? Where's the Maelstrom? There's the Hydrolators. They're here. They're on my list. I promise that they were, but I could not get to or through all of them. Universe of Energy, obviously. World of Motion, all the ones that you are mentioning. Something else that I was going to put on there, Tapestry of Nations, Tapestry of Dreams, was originally on there, and I had to bounce it out because I just literally ran out of numbers. It almost became a top 10. It really almost became a top 10. 5 words, Ellen's Energy Adventure. For a small period of time, it was Ellen's Energy Crisis. And then they didn't like the word crisis, especially in light of the actual energy crisis that was going on. So it was Ellen's Energy Crisis for a very, very short period of time. Grace Corbett, Tapestry of Nations, Tapestry of Dreams, was this incredible, giant puppet-based parade and procession that stopped. It would go around World Showcase Lagoon and would stop a number of times, would interact with guests and kids, and kids could sort of write their dreams out and put them in the dream catcher. It was gorgeous. But again, a lot of problems. It would very much congest the promenade for it was a very long parade, number one. The puppets and the kites would get damaged over time. They would get wind damaged over time. And if the weather was bad, you obviously couldn't bring that out. Beth and others are yelling, how could I not put Illuminations on there? I know. I get it. There's a lot of things. Matthew Woolley, I don't necessarily know that the Barbie parade would make the list, but hey, man, whatever, you go do you. That pink Mattel limo, which Mickey eventually took over a number of years later. They repainted it, repurposed it, but the Barbie... Go watch on the YouTubes the Barbie show at the America Gardens Theater. Before, it was still uncovered. Yeah, it was still uncovered back then. Imagine sitting out in 130-degree heat watching that thing go on. Again, how certain things get greenlit, I have no idea. So, Gina Flacco, don't yell at me. I know that there's no World of Motion. There's no Maelstrom on there. World of Motion was almost on there. I almost put it in lieu of Spaceship Earth, but I have such memories of space. The same way I do World of Motion. The Gary Owens narration in there. It was the most humor filled. It just bled Mark Davis. The most humor filled of any of the attractions in Epcot, which was a very, very, very serious place for a long time. Dave Rashoni, I don't even know you because there's no Illuminations. I know. This is the struggle that I have with top 5s. It's the struggle that I have with top 10s. And now you see why my top 10s sometimes have to be 2-parters. For those of you who are mocking the fact that the top 10 art pieces in Walt Disney World was a 2-parter, Kendall backed me up on this. There was a lot, and to have conversations that go into a little bit more depth I never want the show to just sort of be a surface conversation. I like sort of exploring some of these topics in a little more detail. Cranium Command. I know, Linda, how did I miss Cranium Command? Which had some great voiceover work. There was great voiceover artistry. Speaking of art, there was great voiceover artistry in there. No electric umbrella, no kitchen cabaret. I know. How do I leave off things like Tone Loc? And I know, I get it. There's a lot that I left off of that list, but that's okay. I actually have another idea for a similar top 5 that will touch on some other stuff in Epcot that we missed. I still miss so much resort art in. You still miss so much resort art in a top. I know it's the problem with only having it being a top 10. I could have done, and I think we might have said it on the show. We could have broken the top 10 resort art into its own separate show. Like top 10 murals could have been its own, and maybe someday we will. Maybe we'll sort of go a little bit more granular with some of those. How did I leave off Beaver Tails? I know, and I love the passion. I love the passion. Sue Passower, the sum of all thrones. Remember the Kuka arm? They had the big sort of Kuka arm. It was a like weird ride system, which I know when that first came to be, they had a tough time with the licensing of the Kuka arm because Kuka had some sort of exclusive deal with somewhere else, and there was some sort of issue with the licensing of the technology. But Sum of All Thrills was another short-lived attraction inside of, I was going to call it the Centurium, but inside of Interventions, which had its issues too because not everybody could ride it. You know, it sort of turned you around. Remember when they had segways in Interventions? I was looking for something earlier today, and I found a video of when I did. Did anybody ever do the Epcot Segway Tour? The early morning Segway Tour. You got into the park before park opened. You did a training inside of Interventions, and then you took your Segway out into the empty park. It was almost as cool as doing the Fort Wilderness Segway Tour, which was even better because you went to some super cool places, including the cabin. And I'll save the cabin story. You don't know what the cabin is, do you? I'll save the cabin story for another day. So, but, there is a reason why I've been thinking so much about Epcot. Not just today, but recently. And I have not one, but 2 reasons why I'm thinking about Epcot. And I will go first in chronology. First things first, this Friday, I'm going to be live-ish, both on stories on Instagram, and if I can, go live from a preview of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And I'm burying the lead here because rumor has it, I'm also going to be able to check out the creperie. Tomorrow, I'm not eating. Clear the decks. I am preparing for the sweet and savory joy that is the creperie. If you could see the smile on my face. Well, you can see the smile on my face. Look, it's right here. I cannot wait. I'm really excited for Remy's. I'm super excited for the creperie. But I am going to be live both on stories and if I can. I don't want to make any promises about what I'll be able to do. It is going to be early in the morning on Friday. My time to get there is very, very early in the morning. So it probably wouldn't happen till 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. But stay tuned. It is the importance of turning on notifications so you do not miss a thing. And by the way, I just realized Food and Wine Festival is still going on. Friday's going to be a good day. Friday, we're going to have fun on Friday together. Me and you. We're going to do it together live. So stay tuned, notifications, and of course, please, always spread the word and tell a friend. But wait, there's more. There is. Because we did hint, and by hint, I think I just sort of spilled the beans, that I did remind you to please save the date, or save a date specifically for later on this month. And that date is Thursday, September 30th. And the reason why is because we are going to have with the generosity and help of our friends over at Mouse Fan Travel, we're going to have a WDW Radio event, which I am only going to say is going to be a celebration. It's going to be a celebration of One Epcot Center. And so I invite you to join me that night, Thursday, September 30th, as we celebrate Epcot for an evening of food, friends, fun, food, and who knows what. There may or may not be a surprise, or more than one surprise, in there. Now, before you start running over to celebrateepcot.com, let me give you a little bit of the details. This is going to be a private dessert party with a very, very, very limited number of tickets. When I do events, a very, very wise little man from Dagobah once said that size matters not. I don't necessarily think bigger is better. For things like this, when we do dessert parties, I prefer them to be smaller, a little bit more intimate, which is exactly what this is going to be. We're going to do a private location dessert party in Epcot Center. I can't tell you where it's going to be. Tentatively set to start at 8 p.m. that night. Who knows what that night is going to present? We will find out what it is going to be. Now, couple little details. Tickets are not on sale yet. And if you go to celebrateepcot.com, you're probably finding that out right now. However, if you are a member of the WDW Radio Nation at, I believe, the silver level and above, it does say in the list of your benefits that you do get early access to events. This is exactly one of those times. Later on tonight, I'll be sending you an email with a link to where you can purchase tickets first. You will also get a code for a discount on your ticket as well. It's our way of saying thanks for being part of the nation. Tickets for the general public are going to go on sale Friday morning at 9 a.m. I will set the blog post to go live, as well as a post in the clubhouse and on Facebook to go live Friday at 9 a.m. to see exactly where to go, or you can just go to celebrateepcot.com. Again, tickets are first come, first serve. Also, it is very, very important to remember you not only need a ticket, but you need to have a park reservation and a park ticket as well. Your ticket to the dessert party is not an admission ticket to Epcot. So you need 4 things. A moving buddy. If you don't have one, get one. That's actually not true, because you can come by yourself, because it's fun, because we're a fun group. You also need a ticket to the event. You also need a park reservation, and you need a park ticket as well. Also, if you are coming from out of town, out of state, and you book your resort reservation through Mouse Fan Travel, you get early access to that too. So if you're coming out for the festivities on the 1st, and if you are a client of Mouse Fan Travel and you're staying for at least 2 nights, you too will get early access, and you're going to get a little discount code too, because that's their way of saying thank you as well. So again, it's going to be Thursday, September 30th at 8 p.m. If you're part of the nation, you'll get your email tonight. Becky and her agents are going to send out emails as well. And then Friday morning, 9 a.m., tickets that remaining will go on sale. We'll also have a wait list in case it does sell out, and certainly going to try and accommodate as many of you as possible. So super excited about Celebrate Epcot Thursday, September 30th at 8 p.m. And who knows what the night is going to bring. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Very quickly, as long as I'm just thinking about events are going to sell out, and discounts as well. My Momentum Weekend Workshop in Walt Disney World, November 13th and 14th. We are now, that number is actually wrong. We're more than 60. I think we have 11 seats left. And I've also extended, because I knew I was going to be on the show tonight and doing it from here, I extended the early bird sale. So you can still get $100 off your workshop ticket. And if you want to come to the optional mastermind on Monday, I've also extended $100 off to that ticket as well. You can find out more by visiting LouMongello.com/momentum, or just send me a message if you have any questions. So what else? Oh, wait, as long as we're talking about events, let's keep rolling into it, because I just got off the cruise. We'll talk about that. We'll do a full show about the cruise, and I think we'll do, Becky, we'll do a podcast about the cruise, and then we'll do a live show follow-up. So if anybody has any questions after talking about it, we can take those questions live. And if you're thinking about cruising, one, you should. It was amazing, if you can't tell from my stories. But don't forget, I'd love for you to join us on any one or two or all three of our WDW Radio group cruises coming up in 2022. Our Marvel Day at Sea, we still have availability February 5th through the 10th. I kid you not when I say, other than Alaska, it is my favorite cruise on my favorite ship out of Miami on the Magic. I cannot wait. I've got my costume ready, my underoos ready, my tummy is ready. I cannot wait for this. And then in June, we're going to do an inaugural cruise together on the Disney Wish. Based on what is on the current ships, what we've seen so far, and some conversations that I've had with some folks working on the project, wowza, I cannot wait to see what this cruise is going to have on it. And the only way to make a cruise on the Disney Wish even better is to do a second one for a very merry time cruise, December 5th, also Walt's birthday, by the way. Also going to be a 4-night cruise out of Port Canaveral. To find out more, to get a no-obligation quote, you can visit www.radio.com/DisneyWish2022. And if that's not enough, don't forget the Galactic Star Cruiser is coming. And I know Becky and her team are still taking a list of booking interest. And yes, we are going to certainly try and do some type of a group event there. So definitely check any or all those things out and just contact your Mouse Fan travel agent. They will help you with all of it. Jeff C. says, Sue Passauer just helped me get my night before hotel for Marvel Day at Sea. Jeff C., the fun we are going to have on that ship, I cannot, flames from the side of my face, the good times that we are going to have coming up next year. So clearly there's a lot going on. There's a lot to be excited about. And as things continue to open up and we're able to get together more, I'll tell you, the meet of the month that we did this past month, once again, filled my cup, just being able to see you. And now, having been on board and seeing just how safe and fun and magical cruising still is and continues to be, I cannot wait to cruise with you as well. So that is going to do it for tonight's show. Don't forget a couple of things, quick reminders. Don't forget to, in addition to checking out the shows on Wednesday night and the live show on Friday, we've got the podcast, the community over at the WDW Radio Clubhouse. There's also an amazing team of blog writers, and we've got lots of other special events coming up as well. If you are part of the WDW Radio Nation, thank you. I love and appreciate you so very much. Our next live group call is going to be very, very soon. If you want to find out how you can help the show and get exclusive rewards for as little as $1 a month, you can go to WDWRadioNation.com, join the clubhouse at WDWRadio.com/community. And of course, do not forget, as always, to please choose the good. And oh, by the way, we didn't even talk about it. Marvel's What If? We have to have a conversation about that as well. I've just seen a quick question. Are we going to have a WDW Radio gathering October 1st in Magic Kingdom? Yes, we will. I just don't know when or where yet. I don't want to schedule anything and then have to sort of move things around or mess up anybody's plans by saying it's going to be at a certain time and location, and then Disney comes out with something that's going to happen. So we're definitely going to get together on the 1st. I'll create an event page for it. I just don't know exactly when or exactly where, but I'll be there. Hopefully you'll be there, and we'll certainly get together while we are there as well. And Becky says, yeah, if you have any questions, you can always send Becky a private message as well. Amanda needs to catch up. Today's What If? It's a little bit of a tearjerker. That's all I'm going to say. I'll save the rest for the spoiler support group. So that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, thank you. Wednesday is my favorite night of the week because of you, because I love and appreciate you and everything that you do, not just for me, but this incredible community that you have helped create and nurture and grow. And if there's anything, any way that I can show my appreciation to you and for you, please let me know. Speaking of appreciation, thank you as always to Mousefan Travel for helping to make all of this possible. If you're coming for the first, if you're coming for the 30th and the first, or anywhere, go visit mousefantravel.com. And always remember, my friends, please, 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 don't just choose the good, but be the good as well. Positivity is contagious, and it's up to you to help spread all of the good stuff. So I love you. I appreciate you so, so very much. So until next time, see ya.